Mr. Mercer, would you please read the statement to bring us back into open session?
Sure. Chair Swigert, I move that the record shows that the only items discussed in the closed meeting were those specifically cited in the motion to convene into the closed meeting and those lawfully exempted from statutory meeting requirements.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Mercer, seconded by Mr. Lamonia. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members voting yes.
Dr. Cotton, do you have items resulting from closed session?
Madam Chair, I don't, but I believe board member does. Thank you.
Mr. Lamonia?
Chair Swigert, with respect to the personnel matter discussed in closed session, I move to give you, Chair, Ms. Swigert, authority to enter into a confidential settlement agreement consistent with the terms identified in closed session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Poole. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with a vote of 8-1 with board member Dean voting in opposition.
We will now move on to the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. At this time, I'd like to call upon Pastor Sarah Locke from Hickory United Methodist Church, who will give the opening invocation. Afterward, I'll ask Princess Sarba, a fifth grader from Thurgood Marshall Elementary, to lead us in the pledge. Please stand as you are able.
Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all of your many blessings. We especially thank you for your presence and your provision in each of our school buildings as they have opened this month. We thank you for the staff members and teaching staff, support staff, and administration that are called and positioned to make a difference each day. We ask that you bless them abundantly and that each person called to serve our school system will continue to seek your wisdom, your guidance, your courage, and may you give them an extra dose of your strength. Be present in this room, that in each conversation and deliberation made tonight may be your will. We thank you for our leaders here tonight, those who've been elected to serve and those who lead by example and wisdom. We ask that they may lead with discernment and grace. Lord, we choose to place our trust and confidence that they will continue to work for the good of all those that they serve. Give all in this place and all in our city the insight to lead with integrity, that every decision and every conversation may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Keep our eyes on what is true and what is of greatest importance. And may we keep the most vulnerable students in our minds. May we keep the hardworking and self-sacrificing staff in our hearts, so that all may be benefited by the decisions made. And especially on this day, we remember lives lost and lives given. And we give thanks for the freedoms that we have earned and kept. May we honor those who have sacrificed by honoring and caring for each other and each student and our country that they will inherit from us. Guard us all, those who vote and those who speak, from blind self-interest, and grant us all the humility to always seek your will in all we do and say. In your glory we pray. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Today I will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much to Pastor Locke and to Princess for taking the time out of your schedules to join us this evening. The next item on the agenda is the Virginia Board of Education 2023 Exemplar Awards. Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Chair Swigert. Tonight, the board is pleased to recognize several schools for their recent recognition by the Virginia Board of Education. Joining us to facilitate these awards is Dr. Melissa Oliver, our Director of Assessment and Accountability. Dr. Oliver, I'll invite you to the podium.
Good evening.
I'm Melissa Oliver, and I'm the Director of Assessment and Accountability for Chesapeake, and I'm here this evening to celebrate an impressive accomplishment, a feat that can only be attained when our administrators, our teachers, and our support staff work together to get to know and to grow each of our students. As you're aware, students take standards of learning tests at the end of each year to ensure they've mastered the content of their grade level. Chesapeake's SOL pass rates make it clear that our teachers are engaging students in our high-quality curriculum and that our students are meeting the intended learning outcomes. The states notice this, and they're recognizing our accomplishments. Virginia's Board of Education is recognizing 8 Chesapeake Public Schools with 2023 Exemplar Performance Awards based on the outstanding accomplishments of our students on our standards of learning test. This is not an award that schools can apply for or one that they can be nominated for. It's solely based on state-level data aggregation. Hickory High School was awarded the 2023 Highest Achievement Award. To accomplish this, they met every accreditation benchmark without using any bonus features, like 3-year averages or improvement from the prior year or English learner progress. In fact, they exceeded every academic benchmark by more than 21 percentage points. That's impressive. The state also calculates English and math pass rates for students who are Asian, Black, economically disadvantaged, English learners, Hispanic, of multiple races, white, and for students with disabilities. Hickory exceeded the benchmarks for every student subgroup without using any bonus features and by 18 percentage points or more. That's really impressive. Not only did they do that, but the achievement gaps for each subgroup were minimal. The biggest one was 7 percentage points. That's hard to achieve. And not only did they achieve all of these accomplishments, but they did it based on 2021-2022 data. That is coming back from the pandemic. So not only does it show that they've taught the curriculum and closed the achievement gaps, but it's also shown how well and how quickly they overcame learning loss due to the pandemic. I'd like to recognize Hickory High School's principal, Dr. Donna Wangian, as well as her students and staff at this time, with the 2023 Highest Achievement Award from the Virginia Department of Education, Virginia Board of Education. We're going to go in just a second. We're going to get it once all of them come up. 7 schools were awarded the 2023 Continuous Improvement Award. Only 5% of schools in the state met the criteria for this award. So we're super proud to have 7 of them right here in Chesapeake. Chesapeake houses 2% of the schools in the state that administer SOL tests, but 8% of the schools that have earned this award. So that's impressive. These schools have increased the combined pass rate for 2 or more subgroups in reading and math for the past 3 years, with a total increase across the 3 years of 10 percentage points or more. And again, the 3 years accounted for in this criteria span the COVID-19 pandemic. So despite the setbacks of the pandemic, these schools have increased pass rates among multiple subgroups by at least 10 percentage points. That's an impressive accomplishment. I'd like to recognize the following principals as well as their students and staff for this remarkable achievement. Camelot Elementary School and their principal, Robert Sander. Greenbrier Intermediate School and their principal, Dr. David Richels. Greenbrier Primary School and their principal, Kim Loudon. Reneby Wright Primary School and their principal, Dr. Jessica Dace. Truett Intermediate School and their principal, Elizabeth Coker. Western Branch Intermediate School and their principal, Craig Daniel. And Western Branch Primary School and their principal, Angela Napier. Congratulations on being selected by the State Board of Education for these awards, and congratulations to all of our schools and staff who are working tirelessly to ensure student success. We see you and we appreciate you.
We will now move on to the hearing of citizens. During their allotted time, speakers should observe our rules of decorum and know that expression of concerns and criticism on matters of school policy and operations is welcome. While the speaker's own comments are welcome, they may not play pre-recorded messages. Dr. Smith, are there any citizens who have requested time to speak this evening?
Yes, Chairman Swigert, we have 13 citizens requesting to speak.
I want to thank those speakers who signed up to address the board this evening. There are 2 ways that citizens can request time to speak at the meeting. You can call the clerk's office before 12 noon the day of the meeting, or sign up to speak prior to the start of the meeting. All in-person requests to speak must be submitted to the deputy clerk 5 minutes prior to the published meeting start time. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your allotted time is over, we ask that you promptly exit the podium. You may choose to sit in the boardroom if seats are available, but standing or sitting on the floor will not be permitted, and you may not block the exit doors. We would also like to ask that you refrain from any behavior that disrupts the meeting, including the use of profanity, applause, cheering, or jeering. Dr. Smith, please call the first speaker.
Yes, I'd like to invite speaker number 1 to the podium. If you'll state your name and city of residence, we would appreciate it. Speaker number 2, if you're in the room, if you'll come forward to the front row.
Vic Nichols, Chesapeake. I'm honoring Angela Reddix. Please check your emails for Chesapeake versus state SOL comparison charts. Since COVID's reappeared and the Health Committee refuses to review science, will be my focus. There were stories of unrelated illnesses occurring frequently after mandated vaccines. We've got scientific confirmation now that vaccination causes a marked decrease in immunity to viruses, bacteria, and fungi. This decreased immunity is what people colloquially refer to as VAIDS, or Vaccine-Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. The study is entitled BNT162b2 COVID-19 Vaccination in Children Alters Cytokine Responses in Heterologous Pathogens and Toll-like Receptor Agonists, set out to measure the quality of general immune systems in kids vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine. Reduced responses to certain staph variants are very serious as they're difficult to treat. Well, blood samples were taken from 29 kids ages 5 to 11 before the first COVID vaccine, retaken on the 28th day after the second dose, and a third one 6 months after. Those blood samples were exposed to pathogens that most kids normally fight off. Every last one of them showed a marked decrease in immune responses even 28 days later. In some cases, it was a factor of 10 that it went down. Later on, I want to discuss the disturbing possibility that the COVID spike protein production never ends. The HIV virus reverse transcribes and integrates itself into human DNA so that the reprogrammed cells constantly produce it. So that's why HIV is never cured, only suppressed by drugs. Human cells with COVID vaccine genetic code do the same thing and may endlessly produce that spike protein that we were told would not. Thank you for your time.
Speaker number 2, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And speaker number 3, if you're with us, make sure you're in the front row. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Easton Williams. I live in Chesapeake, and I am here to encourage the teachers. To the teachers who hit the ground running the day after Labor Day, congratulations. You have already done more than most folks who have a year-round job. All day, your sharp eyes and listening ears were laser focused on your students, pop-ins and peep-ins by administrators, colleagues, and your total surroundings, all while teaching and testing and testing and teaching. Oh, and let's not forget waiting for the signal for a surprise fire drill or tornado drill, and unfortunately, the mass shooter drill. In case no one told you lately, you are indeed all that and more. Very few people in this room could do what you do. Very few. So as you continue on your journey, remember to pray. Keep a scripture in your heart at all times. You don't have to know all 66 books of the Bible or all 1,189 chapters or all 31,102 verses. Just know one, if it's no more than the shortest verse in the Bible, which is Jesus wept. So as Jesus wept, then you know there will be days that you will too. So keep a word hidden in your heart to help you make it through the day. Remember, weapons will form, but none of them will prosper because you, teachers, have the right stuff. Thank you.
Speaker number 3, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And speaker number 4, if you'll come to the front row.
Good evening. My name is Christine Garth. I'm a resident of Chesapeake. And I want to just bring to your attention some observations I had last week. I had the opportunity to drop my son off at Deep Creek High School, and I observed that the dropping off traffic pattern wasn't optimized yet. So I wanted to bring to your awareness that me as a human parent with my background, I think there is a opportunity to assist what is, I'm not going to read my notes, obviously some great administrators in our school system. Let's let them continue to be excellent administrators, and could you consider getting a consultant from a traffic engineering firm to look at our whole system, all of our campuses, and interview the people who have the organic knowledge of what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked, and then get all of that brought together, especially at Deep Creek High School, which has another campus right there. And how do those two arrival and departures that are, because there's two guys, there's the teachers coming in, and then there's the kids, right? And then there's the two departures. And then at the high schools, you got multiple departures with the activities and as such. My head's just starting exploding, right? And I've got 5 kids, so I'm pretty good at all the scheduling and stuff, but my head, mathematically, I'm like, whoa, this is a spreadsheet I can't make. So I want to encourage you to, what could we do better next year so that the administrators can have some really well-founded, somebody else has worked out advice, and they can try things like, can we have 2 lanes going one way, only cars, so the buses aren't doing, stop and go? Can we get proven savings on brakes for our buses and lower fuel because they're not spending so much time behind cars doing drop-offs in what I've just observed in 4 or 5 days of school? So I'm not going to solve world hunger. I'm not going to solve this problem because I'm not a traffic engineer. Maybe one of you is, but bottom line is we're a city that's been incorporated for 60-something years, right? I just want to stand tall and go, hey, isn't it time that we start acting like the big kids on the block, right? Let's act like that city that we're going to be in 30 years. Let's invest in this now. Can we get that information, get the other city to buy into it? Let's get that infrastructure planned for all the growth that we're going to have for the areas that we're not experts in. Thank you for listening. Have a great night.
Speaker number 4, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And speaker number 5, if you'll come to the front row.
Lynn Davidson, Chesapeake, Virginia. My name is Lynn Davidson, the creator of the Educators Facebook group. I checked the temperature on my phone today at 2 p.m., and then I checked the heat index. The temperature was 85, but the heat index was 90. I saw many posts about unbearably hot classrooms in Chesapeake, so I told the teachers I'd bring it to your attention. I received 28 messages. I didn't arrange them by school. I arranged them in the order in which I received them. Let me tell you that none of you would be willing to work under these conditions. At Greenbrier Middle, there are rooms with no AC. At Hugo Owens Middle, the thermostats aren't showing the correct temperatures. Why are the air conditioners turned off at night and back on in the morning? It's more cost-effective to leave them on. A teacher's husband is an air conditioning technician, and he verified this. Some rooms at Western Branch Intermediate are in the 80s. A classroom at Western Branch Middle was 83. At Deep Creek High, 2 classrooms were 82 and 80. Another classroom at Western Branch Middle was over 77. At Deep Creek Central, rooms were 83 to 85. Southwestern Elementary and Hickory High School both have no air conditioning in at least some of the rooms. A classroom at Greenbrier Middle was 80. On Friday, Western Branch Middle had no AC in the 6th grade wing. At Deep Creek High, the Tech Hall had no AC. At Greenbrier Intermediate, the gym was 81 Friday morning. At Oscar Smith High, a room was 81. As many of you may or should know, doors and windows can't be opened due to safety issues. That means no cross breeze is able to maybe drop the temperatures a few degrees. A parent told me, she's not a teacher, there was no AC in her son's English class, room 401, at Hugo Owens all week. At Indian River High, it was 72 when a teacher entered the building and 76 by the end of first bell. A teacher at Oscar Smith High School said she was told anything between 68 and 76 is acceptable. It isn't with the humidity and bodies in the room. At Deep Creek Middle, there is no AC in a classroom and the thermostat reads 78 or higher. Teachers are buying their own fans and humidifiers. Bus drivers are going home with heat exhaustion. Teachers' personal thermostats are always higher than the ones on the walls. Teachers' posters have fallen off the walls and papers are damp and curling. I'm sure none of you were writing this down, so please go back and rewatch my speech and take notes. When it's cold, you can put on extra clothes. When it's hot, there's only so much you can take off. Thank you.
Speaker number 5, it's your turn at the podium. Could you please state your name and city of residence before you begin? And speaker number 6, if you're with us, please come to the front row.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sam Lester, and I live in Chesapeake. As this is my first time speaking to the board since most of you were elected, I wanted to say welcome and thank you for the time that you commit to this. It's a blessing and a curse to have a child who is a voracious reader. However, this new no device policy is having an unintended consequence on bookworms, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. Our son frequently reads books with over 1,000 pages in them like these and fills every space available in his backpack with them every day at school. Please let bibliophiles like him cut down on their physical burdens each day by allowing Kindles or e-readers to be used in schools as long as they meet certain requirements. I know you want to help our students foster a love of reading, and this would certainly do just that. The second issue I'd like to address is to encourage you to take bold action next year with the school calendar by finally starting school before Labor Day. The ultimate goal of starting earlier, of course, would be to end the school year earlier and to have more breaks throughout the year. Did you know that only 15% of the United States start school after Labor Day like we do? 15. The vast majority of schools which start before Labor Day are afforded the ability to end their school years in May before Memorial Day. Notably, most are also able to get 2 full weeks off for winter holidays and additional days off peppered throughout the year. Meanwhile, we're only getting 7 school days off for winter break this year. I only have time to discuss one issue with the calendar here tonight, but I will follow up the speech with an email with the many reasons why a pre-Labor Day start would make sense, and I welcome your replies and engagement. The one thing I have time to bring up tonight is the fact that the survey that was conducted in January of this year, asking the community if we would like a pre-Labor Day start, was faulty at best and purposefully misleading at worst. There was only one question asked, simply, do you want to start before Labor Day? There was no additional information given for what a pre-Labor Day start might look like. So in the absence of information from which to make a thorough judgment, I know many people who felt like they had no choice but to stay with the status quo and start school after Labor Day again. A survey that truly hopes to collect accurate input would first educate us on the options with example calendars for what a pre and a post Labor Day start might look like. Even without information to go on, though, this past year, 40% of the community did want a start before Labor Day, a number that would probably increase if the survey was just designed better. Please start this process to consider the 2024-2025 school year calendar immediately and issue a new survey which fully educates the respondents first by including example calendars of what a pre- and post-Labor Day start would look like for Chesapeake, and then ask for our opinions. Last year, Virginia Beach Public Schools approved their 23-24 calendar in October of 2022. Meanwhile, Chesapeake didn't approve it until February of 2023. There's no reason to wait. Please start this important process now so we can all adequately prepare and we can hopefully start reaping the benefits of a much different school calendar in the near future. Thank you.
Speaker number 6, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And speaker number 7, if you're with us, please come to the front row.
She wants me to go? Go. Mary Murphy, Chesapeake, Virginia. Good evening. Today is 9/11/2023. Today we remember 9/11/2001 and the unanticipated horrific evil that took the lives of thousands of Americans. We pray for the eternal souls of those who lost their lives. We pray for those who still suffer from loss or injury as a result of the tragic events of that day. We ask Almighty God to guide and strengthen us to combat evil in all its many appearances and effects. We are in such a tremendous spiritual battle of good versus evil today that unless we call upon God for help and we fight to suppress evil, we will be consumed by it. We can't be deceived by the rhetoric of evil. By God's design, the angels exist outside the boundaries of our natural world. They're far superior to us intellectually, and when God allows them, they can affect us in our physical world. Satan is a fallen angel. Unlike us, he doesn't get a second chance to repent and be saved. In hatred for us, he and his followers are working extremely hard to take us down. Please be on the alert and block any and all evil opportunities from entering our Chesapeake Public School facilities, exposing our staff and students and visitors. The battle for the Satanic Temple to infiltrate the schools and influence the students and staff is one such evil pounding on the door. It's not just a science discovery club. The underlying messaging is that individual actions have no consequences. Therefore, speak and do as you like. The temple tenants and their advocacy are evil, and say it all. I doubt any one of you would even ask to attend a Satanic Temple service. Just check it out and explore what they believe. Please don't experiment with the children. Educators assume you've properly vetted all the groups that you approve for use of their facility. You're the gatekeepers to stop evil infiltration. I'm praying that the Chesapeake Public Schools enjoy an academically enriching, healthy, and fun school year, free of evil pressures so prevalent in our world today. Thank you and God bless you.
Speaker number 7, it's your turn at the podium. And speaker number 8, if you're in the room, please come to the front row.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm Christine Plunkett from Chesapeake, and I have no idea, I've never been to one of these before. I had a very specific idea in mind, and it has nothing to do with overreaching themes. Grassfield Elementary School is where my 2 children attend, and they have a whole lot of portables, and their teacher asked us on their behalf to request awnings. That's it. That's literally it. They walk in the wind and the rain and the snow and the hot and the cold, and she said it's not too expensive of a solution, but that if we didn't ask for it, it wouldn't get done. And my kid's been in a portable for 2 years. We pay a premium to live in Grassfield, so we're in the best school district. Debatable. I'll fight them. I know they're going to be mad at me when I said that. I don't know that it's the best, but very sidebar. Gifted education is a concern of mine. My children have both been identified as being gifted, and it's cluster classes, which I have asked all of their teachers to date. Can you explain what the gifted education entails? And they have said, we're gifted teachers, we can help them. And I reached out to the gifted specialist for our area, and we spoke, and she said, yeah, they've never requested that I ever come there, ever, to do anything with any of their classes. So you pay a premium to live in the best school district, and you go there. There's cockroaches in one class, there's a wasp in the other class, there's mold in the other class, there's mostly in portables from my experience. I don't feel like Grassfield Elementary School is getting the correct amount of funding or attention for the amount of money that we're all paying to go and live nearby that school. That's my only, I don't know what else is going on with the other schools. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Speaker number 8, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin.
Good evening. My name is Amber Bomer. I live in Chesapeake. I'm here today. I wasn't planning on speaking this evening, but my 8th grader who attends Hugo Owens Middle School came home today and told me that as part of his history class, so his regular history teacher, I guess, was suddenly let go. So they've got substitutes that are in there, and apparently the new principal that is there made the decision to show a video. I don't know if it was just a quick Google and they clicked on the first one that came up, but he wanted everybody to be educated on the events of 9/11. I have no issue with that. I'm a vet. My husband is currently active duty. I think it's an important topic for all of our children to learn about. But I do want them to learn from accredited or sources that are worthy of critical learning, not sources that are known to be biased, that are either from a far left or far right viewpoint, because that's not what school is for. The video that was shown was from PragerU. It is a known conservative right media source. My concerns with it, specifically this video, are that it had tones of Islamophobia. That was one of the big issues that I had with it. I don't want any of our Muslim friends to be targeted because some of our kids were shown this video. Also, it had some factual information about what happened during 9/11. So in the context of history, our children should be learning facts, not one person's version of it. So I'm not sure if it was just a simple mistake. Like I said, it could have been just something that was clicked on. Other friends told me at Hugo the teachers were showing news clips, which I think is appropriate. And it could have been, a variety of different news clips from different sources to show, here's how Fox showed it, here's how CNN, so that they could get a variety, right? But showing one source that is known to be from a far right, and I would feel the same way if it was from a far left. It's the fact that it is a biased media source. So I would like for it to be addressed, because I just feel like it's something that isn't right. And I'm for getting awnings for all portables in all schools. So I'm gonna second what she said. So thank you for your time this evening.
Speaker number 9, it's your turn at the podium. And speaker number 10, if you're in the room, please come to the front row.
My name's Steve Shearbaum. I'm from Chesapeake. I'm here once again to ask you to do what you can as a school board to ensure that the after-school Satan Club no longer meets on Chesapeake Public Schools property. It is shameful that this body has been unable to stop the after-school Satan Club from using Chesapeake Public Schools facilities and targeting our youth. I come to you today because you are the body that can get rid of this club, and I feel compelled as a Christian, Catholic, Chesapeake resident, and father of 4 children aged 7 and under to encourage you to do what you can to make sure that the after-school Satan Club can no longer meet. As I believe all of you on the school board identify as being Christian, I would like for you all to consider the story of the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt into the Promised Land. I assume that you are all familiar with this story to some degree, but in case you aren't, I will give you a brief summary. The Israelites were slaves under the Egyptians. God wished them to be liberated for the sole purpose of being able to offer proper worship, which they could not do in the pagan and polytheistic society in Egypt. God chose Moses and his brother Aaron as his representatives to speak to the worldly authority who could liberate the Israelites, the Pharaoh of Egypt. Moses and Aaron presented Pharaoh with a message demanding that the Israelites go to the desert to offer worship to God. Their preaching was accompanied by miracles. When Pharaoh refused to allow the Israelites to go, a series of plagues afflicted Egypt, culminating with the death of the firstborn sons of Egypt. Eventually, the Pharaoh changed his mind about allowing the Israelites to leave and chased them into the sea that was miraculously parted to allow the Israelites to cross. When the Israelites were across and the Egyptians were in the parted sea, God permitted the water to come crashing down on the Egyptians, killing the army that went out. There are several parallels I would like to mention regarding the Exodus story. First, it seems to me that God has hardened your hearts like he did for Pharaoh. It should be apparent to everyone that we live in a post-Christian society in America. There are so many things that are happening in this country that are contrary to the will of God. God is allowing them to happen because people have declared that they have hated God. The after-school Satan Club is merely one of the most disgusting and offensive fruits of the society we are living in. It is hard to imagine this body stopping anything, no matter how offensive, if you allow an after-school Satan Club to meet. May God grant you the grace to repent. Pray that he may not harden your hearts, and that you may offer him appropriate worship and praise, which you are certainly not doing by allowing the after-school Satan Club to meet. Second, God's wrath is real and inevitable when we sin. It normally manifests itself through secondary causes. It may be through bad weather, a school shooter, or any other number of causes. It may even rain frogs or turn our water to blood as God permitted in Egypt. I am not Moses or Aaron. I am not a miracle worker. You shouldn't need miracles as you claim to be Christian. God is speaking to you by the hundreds of people that have spoken out, prayed, protested, or contacted you via email or phone over the course of 10 months of dealing with the devil and the after-school Satan Club. Pray to God that he may not harden your hearts and ensure that the after-school Satan Club never meets on Chesapeake Public Schools property. May God have mercy on us all in this great city. Thank you.
Speaker number 10, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And speaker number 11, please come to the front row.
Good evening. My name is Alex Judkins. I'm a resident of Chesapeake, and I'm a senior at Western Branch High School. Since my sophomore year, I've been enrolled in photojournalism. This is a class I've grown to love and enjoy, and I look forward to it every day when I enter the school building. It provides a safe and accepting space, as well as a creative outlet for many students. On a day-to-day basis, we may film, edit, and produce news segments for our morning announcements, the Bruin News Network, or create posts for our social media, which has become a primary form of communication for students on school events or major deadlines. As the newest revision of the Personal Communication Device Policy states, all possession or use of PCDs shall be regulated and or prohibited at each school as deemed necessary to prevent disruption of the learning environment. While I do agree that cellular devices have become a distraction in the classroom, and there's much research to prove that students succeed in phone-free environments, this policy fails to consider classes with a similar structure to photojournalism. As our name implies, this class relies heavily on the ability to take photos as well as videos. In our classroom, we have one camera. The school has denied our request to be provided with cameras, as well as an exemption to the Personal Communication Device Policy. And the majority of students do not have the ability to go out and purchase a camera, which may cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Nearly every student does have a camera that they carry on them every single day, their cell phone. I'm not asking that the district dismiss their policy, but take classes such as photojournalism into consideration when creating and revising policies that involve the regulation of personal communication devices. Thank you.
Speaker number 11, it's your turn at the podium. And speaker number 12, if you're with us, could you please come to the front row?
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm a Chesapeake resident. I'm here to pursue the fight to find a way to remove the Satan Club from being allowed to meet in our schools. I understand your last vote was to continue to allow it to meet because you did not want other wholesome after-school non-exempt clubs to be punished by doing so, which I do not want to happen either. The long evening in the meeting was adjourned with your vote saying in essence that you had finally washed your hands of this concern, believing it had been given your due diligence. Unfortunately, your vote meant that you would not be willing to take the time required to make the revisions needed of the school-affiliated clubs. Currently, it is unclear as to what classification the clubs sit under, be it school-sponsored, affiliated, or non-exempt, and how they are defined. Mrs. Dean's subsidiary motion was based on much-needed updated information because of the current ambiguous definitions. Her motion was not given the time and justice due. Your responses as to why you voted no to this motion, such as we have clear and sufficient information as to what the definitions are, or there's no need to redefine where we are, we don't want to go down a slippery slope, etc., are the exact reasons why there is currently a problem. Whoever thought that one day prayer would be taken out of school, and worse now, that elementary schools would host a Satan Club? That is the slippery slope, literally allowing the devil to get a foothold Scripture warns against. That crack in the door has now spread to Hickory Elementary. Because of the world our children live in today, the true due diligence needed is to form a committee to help Dr. Cotton and the administration clarify and classify all the school-affiliated clubs. The committee could be made up of several school board members, teachers, citizens, I'm willing to serve on this, as well as, most importantly, an amendment needs to be added to the regulations in the policy handbook stating that any club requesting to use our school facilities that could possibly pose a threat to public health, safety, or welfare of children would be denied. Example, the Satan Club, as it does pose a threat to the emotional and physical welfare of innocent children. The city of Chesapeake was bold enough to respond in this manner to the local news when they denied the Satan Club, Summer Club, the right to meet at a local library based on the above. One of the citizens previously mentioned their doubt that you had each actually gone to the Satanic Temple's website to see their true beliefs and practices. It should be a requirement as a board to do together to help you move forward in boldness too. You must guard these children under your watch as a school board member.
Speaker number 12, it's your turn at the podium. Speaker number 12, if you're with us. Okay, speaker number 13, you're up. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin.
Evening board, Philip Gorecki, Chesapeake. Just wanted to come in and say that the start of the school year has been pretty awesome. I attended much of the schools in Greenbrier, and now I have a child in Greenbrier Primary, Greenbrier Intermediate, and Greenbrier Middle. So pretty much good news on that front. The teachers have been awesome, administrators, even recognized some that were there when I went to school. So that's pretty awesome. So pretty much good news. A lot of my peers and people my age haven't really gotten involved in the whole school board and school system thing. But basically, I try to encourage people to get involved. With the COVID hysteria seemingly dying down and kind of getting a little fire burning again, I'm trying to just kind of see what the temperature is with my peers. Basically, I feel like everyone's just trying to move on from the whole situation, which I can understand. But with that being said, I feel like a lot of people are putting the First Amendment right to free speech on the back of speaker number 1, Vic Nichols. And it's just not right. A lot of people behind a long neck beer like to say they're going to show up and speak their mind and hopefully a little bit of the truth. But I've been watching through YouTube, so I just wanted to show up and, on the good news front, the school system seems to be doing great. A lot of other school districts aren't so lucky. Virginia Beach and other school systems around us haven't been so fortunate as far as adopting different policies. And, their school boards are just completely out the cuckoo's nest. Everybody's got their own beliefs, but I do think that voting does matter because obviously, this year there's a lot of new faces up here. And, I've kind of just completely given up just by stress on the national environment, trying to make a difference there, obviously. But I think we can as a city. I mean, like I said, we are surrounded by a bunch of other communities that are really lost just all around the country. You can see a lot of cities literally crumbling, infrastructure, socially. It's pretty crazy to see that we're supposed to be the greatest nation on this planet, and the state of some of our cities is pretty pathetic. But in Chesapeake, things seem to be on the up and up, but I just feel like people take that for granted, especially people my age, because they've been handed such a great thing. But it's not for granted, because if we don't back this thing up, our kids are not going to live the life here in Greenbrier and Chesapeake that I've lived. So just with that said, hopefully you peers watching on YouTube there, I hope you guys get involved and show up. Have a good evening.
Speaker number 12 is with us, Ms. Swigert, so I'll call Speaker 12 to the podium.
Hello, my name is Cabrina Hughes. I'm in Chesapeake, Virginia. This is my first time speaking. I come from Virginia Beach. My child actually went to Tallwood Elementary, and we were very participating in different events, and it was brought to my attention this past weekend. One of the PTA presidents is actually married to a registered sex offender, and previous moms spoke out on Facebook as well, in a group that I follow, that they noticed that he was in attendance to different Chesapeake, I guess, public school events. So my concern, being new to Chesapeake, What measures are put in place to make sure people that are not supposed to be there, especially registered sex offenders, don't come around different public or different school events around kids? So that's it.
This concludes our speakers for this evening.
Thank you for sharing your comments. Our practice is to receive information. However, we do not usually engage in dialogue, and that is our intent tonight. If appropriate and not already provided, someone from the superintendent's staff will evaluate your concern and provide a response. We will now move on to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Moved by Mr. Lamonia. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Poole. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members voting yes.
Now moving on to the information agenda. The only item that we have tonight is the state budget update. Mrs. Lucente.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to call Mrs. Melissa Glod, Director of Budget, and she will give you an update on the recent General Assembly actions.
Good evening, Chair Swigert, Vice Chair Mercer, and school board members. Tonight's presentation will provide an update on the state budget for fiscal year 23-24. First, context will be provided, followed by an overview on the reconvened General Assembly session held on September 6th. To wrap the presentation, next steps will be provided. Let's get started with some context. As a reminder, the Skinny budget updated the June 2022 biennial budget with technical updates to average daily membership, program enrollment, and tax estimates, as well as corrected the hold harmless calculation error. But it did not allocate anticipated increases in state revenue sources expected for fiscal year 23-24. The Skinny budget was adopted by the General Assembly on February 25th in place of a full budget. It is the basis for the fiscal year 23-24 school budget. Late last month, Virginia's House and Senate members reached tentative agreement on proposed budget amendments for fiscal year 23-24 after meeting throughout the spring and summer. As you are aware, Governor Youngkin called a special General Assembly session for the budget on September 6th on proposed budget amendments set forth in House Bill 6001 and Senate Bill 6001. The House and Senate voted in favor of the new budget. Governor Youngkin has signaled that he will sign the bill. Although the official impact to CPS from the proposed budget amendments will not be known until the VDOE releases an updated budget calculation template, division-specific estimates have been provided on some of the amendments. With that said, tonight's presentation highlights the proposed budget amendments for K through 12 and estimated impact to the division. Please keep in mind the information in this presentation is based upon available information as of September 5th. Now let's dive into the key highlights of the proposed budget amendments. First, $86.2 million is proposed from fiscal year 22-23 residual lottery profits and shifts the split-funded at-risk add-on program from the general fund to lottery. There is no impact to CPS funding resulting from this shift. Next, $152.3 million is proposed to fund additional support positions in basic aid. This will increase the support cap ratio to 24 positions per 1,000 from 21 positions per 1,000. The impact to CPS is estimated at approximately $5 million. Additionally, the proposed budget amendments includes $54.6 million in funding for a 2% salary increase for SOQ instructional and support positions by January 1st, 2024. To qualify for this funding, divisions must have provided at least a 2.5% salary increase in both fiscal years 22-23 and 23-24. Chesapeake meets this requirement, and the estimated funding to CPS is about $2 million. Sorry, I skipped my slide there, but there you go. Okay, and we'll go to this one. And certainly an exciting proposed amendment specific to Chesapeake, $3 million to support equipment costs for the future Regional Chesapeake Career Center. The proposed budget amendments also support additional funding through school safety and security grants. $12 million from the general fund and $8 million from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act will be used for equipment and planning to improve safety and security. The VDOE will manage and develop program guidelines, and funding prioritization will be based on the division's severity of identified deficiencies and local ability to pay. An application may be required to access these funds. As such, an estimated amount of funding from school safety and security grants is not known at this time. The largest source of additional funding is the Flexible Funding Supplement. This $418.3 million supplement is one-time money that offers flexible funding to support the implementation of the Virginia Literacy Act, learning loss recovery, and additional operating and infrastructure support. The flexible funding will not require a local match, and localities cannot reduce the requested local effort as a result of this funding. If the funds are not expensed by June 30th, 2024, they can be carried over into the next fiscal year. In order to do so, the division will need to certify it can provide the local match for the at-risk add-on program for the 2024-2026 biennium. Based on historical local funding, Chesapeake will be able to certify as such. This funding source also includes additional reporting requirements on the use of flexible funding supplement along with the use of ESSER funds. These requirements include reporting how the supplement addresses performance gains and losses to reading and mathematics, as well as how it supports the preparation and implementation of the Virginia Literacy Act. Each school division will be provided at least $150,000 with a potential for more based on federal free lunch participation and unadjusted average daily membership. The estimated funding to CPS from the Flexible Funding Supplement is greater than $14 million. Aside from the general information provided here, the details on how the funds may be used are not yet available. As for the next steps, the VDOE will release an updated budget calculation template after final action from the governor. Once this is available, the official impact of the amendments on revenue expenditures can be determined, as this may affect several funds. The board will be presented with specific recommendations as soon as practicable, depending on the release of the template. Presentation of the impacts will require board action, as well as a request for council action should appropriation adjustments be needed to the capital improvement program, grants and special funds, and the operating budget. Thank you for your time this evening, and we're happy to address any questions you guys might have.
Mr. Mercer?
You kept saying at different things that this is going to be, we don't know whether what the exact amount of money is. We've got recalculations and everything. And I get nervous whenever this group starts recalculating, because last year they lost a lot of money through a miscalculation.
That's right.
Now, does this budget take into account that miscalculation on their part?
So it doesn't address that the calculation error, and the error for 23-24 was $5.5 million, I believe.
Right.
But they don't address it specifically.
It was corrected when they did the revised second year of the biennial budget. They released new calculation tools and incorporated the sales tax hold harmless.
Did that mean we got the money, or
Yes,
did it mean it
we
was
got the money.
recalculated?
No, we got the money.
And that was part of the skinny budget?
That was part of 22-23 budget and the revised 23-24.
Okay.
So that calculation adjustment in the tool had been taken care of
So it did
already.
get taken care
Yes.
of? Okay, because when you start talking about these calculations, you're going to be watching them,
As
make
best
sure
as we
that they're
can.
calculating right, because they don't have a great track record.
I'm
That's
gonna
enough said.
reserve comment.
Okay.
Ms. Dean?
Thank you. I have actually just more of a request and not a question. Can I get a double click into the athletic fund category, and just in terms of funding allocation, how that gets broken down, like the next level of detail per school?
Sure. Go ahead, Vicki.
What I can tell you is the athletic fund itself is funding mostly the coaching supplements and some officials. Each school is provided a specific draw for materials and supplies, and the high schools get $70,000 plus an allocation for police. I think is about 15. We have to make that adjustment in the budget, and the middle schools get $35,000.
Okay, I guess maybe I'm thinking about it a little differently. I'd like to see for athletics as a whole, for the division, how each school is utilizing those funds.
Oh, you want to see how they're using the funds? Okay.
Thank you.
I don't believe I see any additional questions, so thank you, Ms. Glad.
Okay, thank you.
There being no items on the action agenda, we will now move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Just a few announcements before I get to my spotlight this evening. September is Attendance Awareness Month and National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. The back-to-school season presents an ideal opportunity to raise awareness on these important topics. More information and valuable resources can be located on our website. As a reminder, a complete copy of all school board policies and regulations are available in board docs. A link to board docs is available on our website. Citizens who do not have online access should contact the clerk, Dr. Smith, contact her office of the board to get assistance with accessing those policies and regulations. Finally, I would like to share a reminder about our upcoming planning meeting with the school board. That's on September 21st. We will send out a draft agenda that we are working on for that planning meeting. That will be here at the school administration building at 4:30 p.m. If you have any topics you would like in addition to those for us to discuss, please share those with myself or with the board chair, Mrs. Swigert. With that, I'm very happy to share with you all the wonderful things that happened during our opening last Tuesday on an even better first week of school. I enjoyed the opportunity to visit many of our buildings to see students and staff in action. It was exciting to see so many smiling faces in our hallways, classrooms once again. But I know we couldn't have been ready for the big day without some incredible community support. That support comes each year in the form of one of my favorite annual events, the Servicing Our Schools Initiative. This year, over 250 Navy servicemen and women visited our schools during pre-service week. They volunteered their time to set up classrooms, paint, organize Chromebooks, assist with landscaping, and much, much more. Take a look.
New at 5:30, it is still summer break for a few school divisions in Hampton Roads.
So nearly 300 sailors showed up to help teachers and staff in Portsmouth and Chesapeake to get their classrooms ready for the new year. Photojournalist Jason Walsh got to tag along for the 7th annual Servicing Our Schools Day.
So we have about 300 sailors in Chesapeake Public Schools and Portsmouth Public Schools today.
We're just giving back and helping the teachers get ready for their first day of school. So make their lives and their transition a little bit easier and helping them prepare and get ready. I have 3 kids in school myself, so any help that we can be, to the community, that's awesome.
We're out to strengthen the bonds that we have with our community and give back to them. Good morning. Of all that they give to us and our students. We're here to lighten the loads of the teachers so that they can focus on the other big things like getting ready for school. So they're just really looking at the things that the principal and the teachers need to really get their classrooms ready for the school year.
We've been doing it for about 7 years now, and it's a great partnership with our military partners. We're such supportive military community.
Thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate it.
These are our future leaders of America that our teachers are teaching. So far as the Navy community goes, they do so much for us when we're out on deployment, taking care of our spouses and our kids that are staying at home. This is just one way we can give back to the community.
I'd like to thank Captain Frauenzimmer for his continued support of our students, staff, and schools. It was funny, the principal there, Beth Pallister, had a long list for them when they arrived, so it was kind of funny to see all that they had going on. Another great preschool week initiative took place in several boroughs across the district. Several schools, including Truett Intermediate and Deep Creek Elementary, took their teachers on bus tours in their community to get to know where their students and their families live, work, and play. Deep Creek Elementary also took the opportunity to drop off some school supplies to their families before school even started, and you see some of those great pictures there. As much fun as all the back-to-school preparations were, there's nothing like seeing all the hard work put into action. Several school board members, cabinet members joined me this week to visit our schools and check in with our principals, staff, and even some of our students. I know that I really enjoyed my visits with Chair Swigert to Deep Creek area schools. We even stopped by and saw her senior photo on the wall of her alma mater, Deep Creek High. We had to put on our glasses to see because it was a little small up there on the top, but it was great to see your picture there on the wall. Everywhere we went, we saw so many smiling faces. Thank you again to everyone across the district who helped our students enjoy a successful first week of school. There truly is nothing better than seeing our students happy and ready to learn when they show up on that first day. We hope that everyone got to see their favorite teacher, bus driver, or best friend again, and we hope this great start leads to a successful year for our entire educational family. Before I wrap up tonight, I'm very proud to share with you that we were recently recognized by Forbes as one of the top 3 best employers in the state of Virginia, according to a recent survey. Participants were asked anonymously if they would recommend their employers to others and to evaluate their employer based on working conditions, diversity, compensation packages, potential for development, and other factors. We have, of course, you know I can't go without saying this, we have 2 job fair opportunities coming up later this week, and we hope that others will consider joining our incredible team and see for themselves what makes Chesapeake Public Schools a great place to work. Madam Chair, this concludes my spotlight.
Thank you, Dr. Cotton. Last on our agenda this evening is board member items. Does any board member have an item to bring before the group? Ms. Scott?
Thanks. Not to be redundant, but I also wanted to say something about the first week of school. I also wanted to congratulate all of our CPS employees and families on a great first week of school. I know that there's always a few bumps the first week, especially the first day, especially in car line. I know I was in that car line, but I witnessed nothing but grace from CPS staff and families. So I just want to say kudos to you guys for that. It's also a first for our family to have a student enrolled at the Chesapeake Career Center, and that's very exciting. We bought coveralls and steel-toe boots, and she's having a blast. So to all of our families watching, if you're not aware of the good things happening in our Career Center, if you have a child in middle school or high school, I highly encourage you to just go ahead and start exploring the opportunities available and start making a plan. Lots of good things happening there. And I just wanted to say that I'm an incredibly proud Chesapeake Public School parent, and that pride always increases during the week of school visits. I've had the opportunity to visit with Ms. Stutz, Dr. Cotton, Dr. Smith, and Mrs. Diane Edwards this week. My pride always increases during that time because you get to see a lot of great things happening. And I can verify that, yes, there were some AC problems happening in some of the buildings, but I also want to say that I can verify that they were actively being worked on while I was there and even fixed. And I really strongly believe in giving credit where credit is due. So good job for Chesapeake for doing that. We're not perfect, but we get a lot of things right. And I have a lot of confidence in this board and this administration to continue that trend and to continue to go in a positive and right direction. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Mr. Boone?
Yeah, thank you so much. I also want to say we had a wonderful time, and I'm wishing everybody a blessed school year and a safe year this year. It's going to be a great year. And I had a great time with Dr. Walker and Dr. Austin. We had a great time visiting the schools and just seeing everybody excited about the school year. I just wanted to make one announcement. On September 30th, I will be hosting my 9th annual Youth Mental Health Forum. I do this every year. Wow, it's been 9 years. This is one of the most important things I do all year. I think we really have done a lot to save lives. I'll be teaming up again with NAMI Coastal Virginia, and also I want to thank Carrabba's every year for providing food to support this event. And I have one added attraction this year, Angelina Yonis, which is a student here in Chesapeake. She has an amazing voice. I think she's the next star. She's a 9th grader, and her parents have agreed that my good friends to let her come and sing a couple of inspirational songs for today. So it's a great day. September 3rd, it's free and open to the public. Come get some great advice on mental health. It'll be a video presentation. The topics is warning signs we'll be talking about, treatment and resources, and preventing teen suicide, which is the biggest thing. So thank you so much.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes. Well, I wasn't able to do some trips, but I know y'all had a great time, and I've done it for more years than I care to think about. But it does sound like things are going well, and I congratulate everyone who's working so hard in Chesapeake Public Schools. I also, before I close tonight, I know that the person doesn't particularly have a title, but they're always here and trying to keep us straight. And that's our Director of Communications, Chris Vale. And he especially is spending an interesting night with us. It's his birthday. So happy birthday, Mr. Vale.
Happy birthday, Mr. Vale. I'd also like to just add my welcome back to all our teachers, students, and families, and hope you're gearing up for a fantastic year. And with that, we'll call this meeting adjourned.